Emotions remain high on whether bear hunting should be allowed at 3 area sanctuaries.
And tonight, the NC Wildlife Resources Commission held a virtual meeting to hear from people.
News 13's Samir Nefsi attended the meeting where many were not on board with the proposal.
The proposal comes from the U.S. Forest Service to allow hunting at 3 area bear sanctuaries as they claim bear-human interactions have increased in rapid growth of the bear population. It's estimated the current bear population is between 7,000 to 8,000 across the state. Now, the hope is to allow hunting on those sanctuaries as a form of population control. The proposal would allow permitted bear hunting this year in Panthertown, Standing Indian, and Piscoble's bear management units. The proposal may also assist in addressing local human-bear conflicts by locally managing bear densities, removing problem bears, and reversing human-conditioned behaviors being observed in local bears. According to the data presented on Thursday, the bear population has surpassed the goal of maintaining a population of 4,400 to 4,900.
Regulated hunting has been successful in reducing bear population growth in the mountains from 15% now down to 5 to 6%, but it has remained at this robust growth rate for the past few years.
The founder of Help Asheville Bears is very much against the proposal.
Then why call it a sanctuary? It is not a sanctuary if you're going to allow them to be hunted and killed. Bears are only doing what they're supposed to do, and that's follow their nose and eat.
While the North Carolina Wildlife Resources Commission defines bear sanctuaries as a place protected for breeding purposes and, quote, to produce a dispersing surplus of bears that could be harvested without detriment to the population, end quote. During public comment at Thursday night's hearing, there were concerns.
These areas were designated to give bears like a chance to be bears without being hunted. And I'll end my comment there, but I'm completely against G13 opening these up.
That fragmentation and loss of habitat is another reason why we're having increasing bear-human contact. We should concentrate on teaching humans how to live with bears and not just respond by killing the bears.
Some agree the proposal is necessary.
I agree with the G13 to open the bear sanctuary up for permit hunting. As somebody that hunts the area regularly during deer season, you notice when you see more bears than deer that it might be time for a change.
Comments from today's meeting will be placed into a presentation for the commissioners. They'll be presented to them on February 24th. Now, if that proposal passes, hunting will follow suit with permits that'll be determined by population.
And new at 5:30, a local university is giving students some extra help during the pandemic.
UNC Asheville is using more than $1.5 million in grant money to clear some of the outstanding student balances.
News 13's Kristen Aguirre spoke to some students about what it was like to receive this financial help.
And this grant was just one of multiple utilized by UNC Asheville to support its students during the pandemic.
When I went down to the bookstore, I was looking at like $200, $300 in lab equipment.
It's no secret, school is expensive, and add in a pandemic.
For me personally, it's been really stressful.
Alex Cervera, sophomore at UNC Asheville, had a little of that stress relieved when he received a HERF grant from the university.
So that HERF grant was really helpful in allowing me to not be so stressed about like a really hard upcoming school year.
The HERF grant is a higher education emergency relief fund. The university received a little more than $1.3 million through that from the federal government.
Just that little bit of money helps and goes a long way for families like mine that are really like working class and need that kind of money.
Alex received a couple $100, using it to pay for books, food, and transportation.
We saw that there were a number of students who have been struggling to pay their balance this semester and previous semesters during COVID pandemic.
Alexis Levinson, the director of student accounts for the university, says more than 800 other students have their tuition paid in full.
But we saw that as a true need for our students.
The money awarded to students with the greatest need based on FAFSA.
I'm currently working a couple of jobs to try to pay for tuition and also for other expenses.
Students like junior Sadie Scott thankful for the money.
I've received enough to help me cover some of my tuition, and I've been able to use it on books, school supplies, and also gas for my car.
Now, more freedom to dream about what's ahead.
Getting like an extra few $100s was really nice to help go towards my savings because I'm planning on studying abroad next year.
A lot of our students are struggling during this time, and it's been really amazing to be able to see students utilize this funding to be able to persist and to graduate.
Shannon Shepard from the university's financial aid office has seen firsthand the impact that money is making on students.
It's been just a great joy and delightful to see students reach their academic goals, and we have an opportunity to have some funding to give to the students to do so.
It was an amazing feeling of relief.
And the university plans to open up another round of emergency grant applications to students in the future.
Every year, North Carolinians spend millions of dollars on lottery tickets hoping for a winner, knowing a portion goes to education.
But a News 13 investigation finds some districts getting approval to spend millions for athletic projects, from synthetic turf to tennis courts to swimming pools. Tonight, News 13's Kimberly King has the results of her 6-month investigation.
And Kim, lottery officials have never publicized that money is also going to sports.
Tammy, that's right. We poured over thousands of pages of projects, this is just some of them, where districts use their education lottery funds. Now, some educators feel the criteria doesn't allow for spending for things like stadium lights, swimming pools, and tennis courts. But as we've discovered, the criteria is open to interpretation.
Authorization of lottery application for Reynolds High School Stadium and baseball field lights.
This is Buncombe County's Board of Education meeting last October 7th.
Are there questions on this item?
Help me to understand. So the polls are shared.
After some clarification, the board votes.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The 7 members unanimous. The application for $875,000 in education lottery money approved for new stadium lights at AC Reynolds. Buncombe's facilities director Tim Fearley tells News 13 investigates by email the decision to prioritize lights is so Reynolds can qualify to host state playoff games. The school board, he said, responsible for setting the district's school projects priority list. Of the $29 million Buncombe County has received in lottery allocations, we've calculated about 7%, or about $2 million, has been approved for sports-related projects. In 2018, Buncombe County received $225,000 for a new swimming pool at T.C. Robertson. The year before, $600,000 for a turf field replacement, also at T.C. Robertson. The majority, around 93% of Buncombe's lottery distribution, has gone to projects and repairs, like $407,000 for a new roof at Owen Middle School. But a recent Department of Public Instruction school building needs report shows 39 Buncombe schools, from Williams Elementary in Swannanoa to Anka High, may need an estimated $81 million in repairs and additions in the next 5 years. The numerous records we've reviewed show that spending on athletics has gone on since the lottery began more than 15 years ago, all with approval from the state's education division headed by School Superintendent Catherine Truitt, who, along with her staff, declined our repeated requests for interviews.
College is very expensive.
Education lottery ads highlight scholarships. And millions do help build schools.
The funds that we received from the North Carolina Education Lottery were a huge part of that.
But lottery officials confirm the lottery's never done an ad campaign on projects like the $250,000 weight room at Madison High or the recent million-plus stadium turf replacement jobs in Haywood County, paid for with lottery money.
We don't have educational needs that are suffering.
Chuck Francis is Haywood Schools Board Chairman, Bill Nolte, Schools Superintendent.
We prioritize what is it that we need to do.
DPI records show Haywood County has received over $8 million in lottery money for repair needs. State records News 13 has uncovered show district leaders have chosen to spend over $5 million, more than half, on specific athletic-related projects, the largest percentage of any district in the mountains. More than $1 million spent for new gym floors, gym lighting, and gym HVACs at Pisgah and Tuscola high schools. Approximately $3.4 million district-wide for bleachers and synthetic turf, including at the 2 high schools. Does the fact that those schools have very strong football teams have anything to do with the heightened focus to keep those stadiums and that turf in good condition and spending lottery money to do that?
Well, there are only 2 high schools that are members of the North Carolina High School Athletic Association. So we want every team there. We have dozens of teams. The band marches on the turf. Soccer plays on the turf. We replace roofs. You know, we do daily maintenance.
Lottery records show that's true, but News 13 found other school districts choosing to spend their lottery dollars only on schools.
We got to fix a roof. That's a little more important than maybe, getting new bleachers for the field.
Aaron Green is Polk County's superintendent, familiar with criteria. In state criteria manuals, DPI states lottery proceeds must go for public school buildings, which they say include facilities for individual schools used for instructional and related purposes. Allowable projects include purchase of land for schools, design for schools, construction of new school buildings, renovations, enlargements, or repairs.
That's your classrooms, that's your main buildings where students are housed.
The small district, he says, using funds for things like a library expansion, roofs, and school building debt. Swain County's manager, Kevin King, also feels project criteria has been clear.
The Board of Education have always felt that it needed to go into the classroom.
Because it's the education lottery?
Correct.
But just this past year, News 13 learned DPI added a new line that states funds can go for things like lighting for athletic fields, though it's been going on for years. DPI by email further clarifying that spending on bleachers, grandstands, press boxes are all okay.
It's the whole child that we're trying to educate here in Haywood County.
Leaders feel using millions for turf has been the right priority in a district where there's tremendous school pride in sports, even while DPI's school facility needs report estimates Haywood over the next 5 years could need more than $65 million in school renovations.
I do not anticipate that we would need that much money in the next 5 years to keep all of our facilities in good shape.
The floors are peeling. The bathrooms are in horrible shape.
Rebecca Frazier has a daughter at Canton Middle School. The school is nearly 100 years old, with clear signs of neglect News 13 found when we went inside.
There's so many things that could be being done other than turf.
Now, Dr. Nolte says the district has an excellent maintenance team that keeps the schools in good shape and that Canton is a priority to get replaced, just not yet. Tonight at 11, we will talk with parents seeing for the first time where their county's education lottery dollars have been spent. We'll go inside their children's school in need of work, and Superintendent Nolte will share why he feels North Carolina lawmakers who created the lottery have broken their promise to districts. We hope you'll watch tonight at 11.